Welcome to a video of me showing a journal that I just made. I made it because honestly I need a new journal for like writing my dreams. And so I made like a little log on the inside of it, but most of this is just like paper to write on for just normal journaling. I just needed a new one. The one that I had is getting filled up, the first one that I made for myself. So we made another one. And this is my favorite journal that I've ever made in the whole wide world. Let me get in center. And if you're one of my Sims viewers, what it do? I'm so sorry that I've been gone so long. I actually did record a Sims video too, so I'm gonna get that out as soon as I possibly can. You know, life has been happening, work has been happening, and then when I haven't been working, I've been making this little creation here. You know, just a lot of stuff. We all get busy sometimes, right? I'm sorry. Anyways, that will come out soon, but for now, I just really wanted to show what I've been working on lately. So this is called Blue Dream, and it's basically, the premise of it is what I think about when I think of the term blue dream, because that's a strain. If you know what I'm saying, that's a strain. So anytime I hear it, I think of this very specific blue and this very specific image in my head, and it was really, really fun to let that just come to life. This is the side of it. It's got all sorts of little charms. I'll show you this after I show you the cover, but yeah, we got like a little charm here. We even got a little rose. I just hate that it's facing backwards, but it makes sense for the page that it's on. I made this out of a cereal box. I really should have made it with a thicker spine. I did not realize how much I was going to cram in here, and you'll see in a minute, like when I show you, this is the most interactive journal that I have ever created in my life, and I took a lot of inspiration from other YouTubers who do journaling stuff. I kept watching videos and adding more stuff because I'd make their ideas my own with this theme, and it was really fun. It was a lot of fun to make. I actually made a tassel. I don't usually do tassels. Usually I do like little flowers that come out, but I don't really have room to put any kind of flowers or anything like that inside. I really jam-packed this. The only possible thing that I could even do more to this is just write in it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, I made it out of some of the ribbons that I used in the journal itself. And then I also put some charms on here. I made a little beaded part that says dream with those letter beads, like a friendship bracelet kind of bead thing. And this is one of the charms. It's a little Saturn, and it's got a lot of, you know, sparkly beads on it. And then I also have a couple of charms that I got from the downtown of where I am. So I've got a little mermaid on there and a little star. The mermaids make sense in the context of the journal. Obviously, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to the average person, but you know, mermaids are like a big thing to me. I don't know why. They just always have been. I guess it's because when I was growing up, I was the only person with red hair that I knew, and then having the Little Mermaid, really, I loved the Little Mermaid because she didn't look like me, but she had the same kind of hair. Anyways, why am I like out of breath? I just walked my dog and just came right in here and just hit record. So sorry if I'm out of breath right now. This is on the outside. I made a clasp out of chain and I attached a bead to it. It's got a little like North Star on it, Northern Star. And I also have this, which has been sitting around in my stash for a really long time, and it's actually like, it got really old and like worn down, and that's just how it naturally happened. I've had this for a really long time, and I was just like waiting for the perfect opportunity to use it, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity. So inscripted on it, it says, dreams know the way, just follow them. There's a little clasp, and you open it, and it's a compass, and it really works. It's an actual real compass. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea because there's like this idea of inside of this journal, there's like this idea of there being like a dream world. So I've got a little vial. We've got all of our, you know, guiding stars. Let's open up the chain clasp and see what's inside. Okay, I got it. God, that took me way longer than I would like to admit, but it's getting edited out, so you will not see. My cat is like right above right there. So if you see a shadow moving, that is him. So this is the journal right when you get onto the inside. The tassel can just kind of sit, you know, ahead of it. And I can even remove it with this clip here. So it is not going to get into the way. I made a two-prong pocket thing on the first page, which actually folds out. Chaos. It actually folds out, and my cat is like super interested in it right now. And it shows, you know, some moon moon paper. There's a little window that has a night sky in it, and then you can pull it out, and this is where I'm gonna write, you know, my name and like, you know, this journal belongs to kind of thing right in there. And then, you know, I can clip anything I want in there. And then these have two see-through pockets that I just made little cards for and put them in there. So there's that bottom one. And then this one is a ticket to the moon. So it's all cool and sparkly and moon papery. I don't know. I kind of went for this theme of like hidden pockets. There's a lot of hidden writing space in here. This isn't hidden, obviously. It's just like a normal pocket, but you fold it out, and then I put a QR code here, and that takes you to the Once Upon a Dream Lana Del Rey cover. So if you scan this with your phone, it'll take you to that, like right here. And then, you know, I just imagined listening to that song as I'm flipping through this journal because it's so good. It goes so well. And then I got this from the dollar store. Oh, this got a little bent, but there's a little tag. It says, "I hear the whisper of the stars and the call of the pale moon." And those are just getting tucked right in here. And then I had this little strip of paper, and this is a full moon, and I thought it would be perfect to hide my little Velcro circle right here. So the top just goes right over there. I have some dream catchers on here to keep the nightmares away, though there is a pocket dedicated to nightmares, which I'll show you in a bit. So speaking of like the hidden pockets and such, this is a tag, right? It just looks like a normal tag, but if you open it and don't mess up on trying to do the reveal, goodness, if you open it up, oh my, chaos! All right, we're getting him down. I'm sorry. Okay, I feel like this is just better quality. So we're doing this little tag, remember? So let's open up the tag, and it says, "Never hide your wings on the inside." And you can just do, because this is definitely for me. I'm just gonna do some, you know, secret journaling in there. It's not really gonna be a secret anymore because I'm sharing this with you, and then my family, once I die, can just go back and look and see all my secrets. So yeah, like I have two separate eyelets on each side, and then this goes through the front, which was a lot easier when I had normal nails. Okay, and then you just slip these through the loop like so. All right, so that is my secret tag. There is also a little map that I had AI create. And it is a little, you know, like an old world medieval looking map with a bunch of different realms. Well, I guess this is the realm, and there's a bunch of different like parts of the realm. And then on the back side, I wrote what each realm has and like, you know, like the keys for them and everything. I was planning on making like different little symbols for all the different little places throughout the journal. So anytime it references the dream realm and I made a symbol, I could just come back and this would basically be the key. So it's the 5 kingdoms of the dream realm. So for example, Dreamer's Lake, which is right here, and there's like an island attached to it, is really a series of vast channels linking the entire realm. It's home to the Dreamer's Lake Mer people. Sailors have been sailing Dreamer's Lake since man first dreamed of ships. You may feel the sense of being underwater, but the Mer people safeguard all dreamers. So there's like a big reference to Mer people just because of that. I have my Capricorn, I'm pretty sure that's Capricorn, my sign and constellation. There's a celestial peaks, glimmering dragonflies, fields of serenity, forest of slumber. And if you really want, you could pause the video and like dream what I wrote or read what I wrote. But yeah, that is the map, and it's just placed, and I folded it so it still says dream, and it's placed in the front pocket, but I'm not finished showing you everything that's in here yet. This I just made as like a little flat piece because there's a lot of chunky doodads in here, and this is just, you know, a little flat spot for writing. So it's a tarot card that says the dreamer, and I had her get red hair and brown eyes, so she looks like me a little bit. And there's dragonflies, which are significant to me because when my grandpa died, we spread his ashes at a lake, and there were more dragons dragonflies than I had ever seen there before. And we went to that lake every single summer, and I'd never seen so many dragonflies in all my life. So we kind of, in my family, associate dragonflies with my grandpa. And then on the other side, I just collaged it with a couple different pictures that just kind of went together really well. And then a little word, moonlight. And then I laminated it and put it, you know, cardstock in between the illustrations. So it's very sturdy, very, very sturdy. Got this envelope from downtown Corvallis where I live. And I thought it was really, really pretty. There's a little shop with all sorts of different kind of mysterious things that you can buy. I got most of my charms from there, actually. So this is a postcard that I also got in downtown Corvallis. And then I am just going to put it in the envelope. And if I ever need a postcard, because my family lives on the other side of the country, well, not the other side. They live in the Midwest, I live on the West Coast, but I will always have that there. So in case I need a postcard for whatever reason, I can send it to them. And then if we flip the page, this is the first like flat page officially. I guess it's technically the second page, but we've got some stenciling, a little tab. I have all these tabs throughout the journal. So turn the page, we have a little star charm hanging onto the tab. I started out in this journal with a series of like snapshots that make you think of just falling asleep, and this is kind of like you're drifting off, and this is her, you know, she's in bed, but she's really running off to the dreamland realm. This is a piece of paper that I hand dyed, and I thought it really just, it spoke for itself. I didn't want to cover it up with an illustration, so it just went in there like so. And then I have a little tag that I got for a different journal that I was making. This was just kind of in my stash, and I thought it really went well with the theme. And I just kind of, for most of the pages, I used a distress ink, like a blue distress ink, like for everything. So that's, you know, I mean, even on the blue paper, I used it on that. I actually didn't use it on this little specimen tab that I made, but this is where my little blue jar full of sparkles is located. I just made this out of, you know, just some tea-dyed paper, and I laminated an illustration of a butterfly. I made 2 copies of the butterfly, fussy cut them out, and then glued them to the backs of each other, and this is my little specimen card. I stenciled on it, and then there is a secret pocket underneath that has a seed packet in it. It says "Forget Me Not," and they're really pretty and blue, and thought it really went with the journal very well. And then on the back of it, I just glued, "This is my dream. I'll decide where I go from here." Yes, there are Alice in Wonderland references in here because I love that movie. Also, my current journal that I regularly journal in is Wonderland themed, Alice in Wonderland themed. So I had to make myself another themed-ish kind of journal. So she's referenced, and then my favorite actress is Judy Garland, and you know, Wizard of Oz is a dream. So I've got some of her references in there, and then this is just, you know, a little illustration that I got off of Pinterest, and I stamped some music note stamps on there, and I inked the border. Most of this journal is very sewed on too. I really like this stenciling and stamping that I did on there. Okay, so Blue Dream is a strain of weed, so there's a couple weed pages in here as well, so don't fault me for it. This is my journal. And then I also hand dyed a lot of book pages and used them throughout the journal as well. This is a horoscope from December 16th, 1958, and it's from the Oregon Journal. And we found these newspapers in our dresser when we first moved here. We got it from this like secondhand store that sells furniture for the low, like they get them from estate sales and stuff, and then they just resell them. And that was in our dresser from 1958, and it's just like a whole load of newspapers, and I saved them in my stash, and I thought this was perfect for this journal. So if I turn the page, we've got your house in the night, like Christmas Eve, and this is when the kids are dreaming of Santa Claus. I don't know, this is me just making it up on the spot, but it had like this beautiful blue over filter on it, and you know, just reminds me of Christmas and being a kid and your parents getting ready to be Santa, basically loading your tree. This is a little illustration that I got off of Pinterest. A lot of the images are from Pinterest. So I have a little stamp that says keep on dreaming. Can't really tell because I had to stamp it a couple times. It wasn't really hanging on. And then this is, oh, let's focus. This is a little charm that I got, actually just off Amazon, I think. No big deal. This is a really cool spread. Okay, this is my favorite thing in the whole world. I have to get down for this though. Okay, so I'm just trusting that you'll be able to see this. So this is a little idea that I got off of YouTube. What I did is I watercolored what looks like a curtain, and it's really pretty blue, and my goal was to get it to look almost like it's sheer, but obviously you can't see what's behind it. So if you open the curtains, we have images. And this is basically a slideshow of pictures of people who experienced dreamland. So this is Alice, of course. We've got a lady who just took her face off, and there's a pigeon. You know, the images speak for themselves. And then we've got like a little city with people doing all sorts of things. A lady looking up at the moon, but she's like in water in the clouds. That was a really cool one. And then we keep turning. There's a lady touching the moon, and another one with this like a sailboat. You can see through her. And then a lady on the moon getting courted by a man. And then we have some hidden journaling space underneath it. And this is my favorite thing that I've ever created for a junk journal. This is the coolest thing. I love it so much. I just love it. So that is one of my favorite spreads because of that. And then, so I can come back up now. So now we have some music paper that I got from an antique shop in St. Paul, and a little clip kind of holding it together like an envelope. And so we have a little kingdom that I imagine would be in the dreamland, and behind this kingdom is our nightmare pocket. I created a little belt for this, which unties like so, and then comes off, and it says nightmare on the outside of it. And we're keeping them contained with a dream catcher. Behind it, I'm just planning on writing on this with a gel pen or some of my acrylic markers, so I can still use black paper and still write on it, which I think is awesome. So if we just undo it, it says, when lost in the dark, look for the light. And honestly, I've been playing a lot of The Last of Us lately, so that's, I don't know, I just thought of that because of like the whole firefly situation. This is a little girl having a nightmare, obviously. Oh, let me show you the back. So this is the back. It's got some clowns on there. A lot of people will find that unsettling, so I figured I'd put that on there. And then if we open it up like an envelope, this comes out. So this is kind of like another hidden tag. And then this also opens up right here, and I've got a lot of little hidden journaling space. So even if someone finds this and opens it like this, you still have to maneuver your way over to this part to find like the hidden spot. So that is my little nightmare pocket. She looks terrified, doesn't she? She looks so scared. But we've got the little dream catcher keeping it away. I got those dream catchers from like the Dollar Tree, actually. I thought those were perfect for this journal. So we'll just tuck those in underneath the paper clip, and the nightmares are tucked away. There's another little moon charm. Turn the page. An image I saw from Facebook. I actually just saw this in the wild, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. And I feel like a lot of nonsense kind of goes with this journal. So, you know, nonsensical pictures like that, like a witch riding an alligator in a swamp. I just thought that was perfect. So that's on the back of that vintage music paper. We've got a pretty blue ledger paper with some blue flowers, and I also outlined all of this with distress ink. So this I ripped off of Google. I'm sorry, I ripped it off. This is just for me anyways. It's not like I'm selling it, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I found this off of Google. There is a journal that you can buy online that just gives you a bunch of different prompts. I think I'm kind of one of those writers that needs a prompt. I need someone to like be like, so this is what you're gonna write about, okay? And I think that helps a lot of creativity and inspiration. So I found this, and it's basically just a prompt that came with that journal, and it's called the Horrible Poem Prompt. And I even kept the hashtag here at the bottom so that I could maybe even share it. I don't know. It depends on how horrible this poem is really gonna be, but ooh, I'm moving you, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's an exercise.
Write a 5-line poem that is purposefully terrible with whatever format or style you choose. I think I'm gonna do a haiku. Try just to make it the very opposite of what you or others might think is good. Why? Judgment is the #1 killer of creativity. On the other hand, freeing yourself from judgment is rocket fuel for the imagination. It's a healthy act of creative imagination to abandon any self-censorship completely and just create impulsively, even going as far as creating something that is purposefully bad. And you might find that something good comes out of it.
So there's a little example there, and I just thought that would be a really nice exercise. A lot of the times I will put exercises in my journals, like crosswords, and there is a crossword in here. Sometimes I'll put coloring pages and stuff like that, but we've got another ledger paper, traveling fiddler, another antique music paper that I got, and we've got this little vellum pocket with clouds on it on the other side of that, and another postcard of just nonsense that I got in downtown Corvallis. So that just goes right on in there. I got these cool little like doll-like demonic, I don't know, pictures from Pinterest as well. This is an idea I just stole off of a YouTube video as well. It is a little hidden spot. It's not really hidden because you can tell, but it comes out like accordion style. And there is just some extra space to journal right there. This is just a vase full of poppies, and there's a lot of poppy references in this journal too, because poppies are the flower that represents sleep, just like in The Wizard of Oz, which is also referenced. So usually I'll tie a bow. Okay, I'll tie that later, whatever. Here's a little dial that I made with all the planets and horoscopes and all that. Just thought that would be really cute. It's like a little spin dial. Here is some like cannabis themed paper for like logging and stuff. This is one of the coolest pages. This is a sailboat that actually moves. I had this like wave paper and I was like, oh my gosh, what if this sailboat is like going up above the wave and it's just traveling? And it's called Starlight. It's made, I actually origamied it and just collaged over the top of the origami. So it has pockets because origami has pockets as well. So we've got a bag of weed, of course, in our spaceship, or not spaceship, but sailboat. We've got a jar of galaxies. What else do we have in here? We have a jar of another kingdom, probably celestial peaks. And then we also have another ticket to the moon. It's just backed with some craft paper. But yeah, it's got like little pockets on the inside. And so, you know, I thought it was a fun idea to have little mini stuff in here, and I had these stickers, which were perfect. So this ship is just carrying some cargo through its little trip in the galaxies. Behind it is a little tag that I made with the little stargaze word on it. And this is a lady. And then this is just on the back of more paper that I dyed. I dyed it with like distress inks and stuff. And those spray ones too, I just put that in the water. Got a little ocean wave on this side. And this thing will really come in handy on this page specifically. This is so smooth with this behind it. It's just so much better to write on. So I'm really glad I made that. I'm probably gonna start making those for like every journal that I do because I just need to. This is a little veil that flips up, and then we have the Empress tarot card backed with some, you know, just grid paper. Just a little hidden spot. I always do veils. Here is the next page. That same paper clip is holding this tag that says Divination on it. And it's just a little collage of a little girl and a post-it note that I got of just like a word bubble, thought bubble. Actually, no, this would be a speaking bubble. Anyways, the same ledger paper we saw before. This is like taking forever. I'm so sorry. There's just a lot to it. There's this little gate that I stitched onto this vellum paper for the second signature. We've got another kind of horoscopy looking lady backed on grid paper, and she goes inside this gate, which can be a little finicky because it's all sewed and everything. So there we go. We've got another ticket to the moon and a tab. And this is the second signature. So this is vellum, so you'll be able to see the wording behind it and everything. We've got another piece of music paper that I got from that same booklet that I got at that vintage store. This flips out, and there is more collaging on this side with the lady being lifted up to the moon and stars. And I've got another sticker that says Aries on it. That represents my mom. I think I might have passed the Scorpio one. That represents my husband. And then this is fun. This is a little shaker little shaker tag that I made, and it says conjure on it. Oops, you're shaking, my bad. So yeah, I made that with some glitter, and then it is tore up to shreds on the back, but I can write on it if I really want to. So stenciled that with some blue stars. This is a little vellum pocket that my friend sent me. This says fantasy on it, and it just goes right on in there. I like that it's in a flip out because that kind of mutes the bump that the tab makes. This is one of the mermaids from the Mermaid Lake. So this is a Mermaid Lake mermaid picture, and she goes in this little tuck spot made out of music paper and tulle. Let's put that in there, and I just think that's a really pretty pocket, and it kind of looks like bubbles. So got a nice fairy right here. It says imagine over her. This is like a full page tab, and then a little stampy, another reference to weed. Thought this was really cool to add, like a really cool image to add specifically for this journal. And then if you flip it, we have our paper doll section. So this was a separate image that I thought really looked like a doll. And then we've got our paper dolls. So they're in a little paper bag, and they have little accessories that go in the front. So there's all sorts of different accessories. These are the dolls, and they're inside this paper bag. Let me take them out for you. This is Mr. Rabbit. This is Mr. Walrus. And this is Buck. They're my little paper dolls. I actually have another paper doll in the back of the journal too, but it's from a different set. And these ones don't move, but the other one does. So this is just backed with some regular grid paper. And I've never made paper dolls before, but I thought this was so much fun. I really wanted this journal to be interactive, so I thought paper dolls were like perfect. I saw someone do it on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that has to happen for this journal. That has to happen. So I played around a lot. There was a lot of experimentation that went on with this journal, and I think it just came out so awesome, like just so beautifully, so perfectly. All right, so that's just gonna get clipped in with this paper clip that has this pounded metal star. And I got that from that little shop in downtown Corvallis as well. It just goes right here like that. And then here's a little fairy pocket. Postcard goes in there. Another one of those nonsense postcards from Corvallis that I found. I think I only bought 3 of them, so I think that's it. And then we've got a little pop-out pocket made with that dyed book page, and it's got a little dragonfly in there. And you can write over it, it's just a stencil, but yeah, some stenciled stars, a pocket that's collaged with a little girl with the moon and a butterfly, and she's on a cloud. It says wish. And here's here's a big tag that's in it. It says Mr. Sandman, more collaging. The back of it looks like that, and that just goes in there. Most of this stuff is stitched on, you can tell. There's a lot. I did a lot of stitching and a lot of stamping, a lot of stenciling, a lot of distressing. I ripped this pocket off of this page, and this fish comes with those paper dolls that we already saw. It just comes as like an accessory, but I don't know why. So I just cut it out and put it on this pocket. It needed a little something, a little oomph, if you will. There's a little notepad that I just sized down those ledger papers and made them into a notepad and distressed the corners of it. Here's a little dragonfly popping out a little bit. That stamp is meant to be kind of like subtle, I guess, or like splattery. I made this house paper clip. It's a hidden paper clip that is made out of, this is a chocolate bar wrapper. This is the book paper that I dyed. This is just scraps, just scraps from my stash. And it holds this tag that's collaged. It's a good time to be alive, it says. And it opens up like this, and it's just a hidden journaling space tag. I always say tab when I mean tag, and it just, just tucks under this hidden paper clip. I got some eyelash trim on the side here as like a tab. That is a tab. Anyways, here's a framed picture. The frame came from a different print. I just cut it out and put it over the top of the picture of Dorothy and Toto. And here's from my big book of flowers, Victorian book of flowers, big cutout of poppies. And then this flips out and has a nice little journaling spot. And then the poppy meaning and origin and what you compare it with. It means eternal sleep. The poppy is known for its narcotic effects. It is used to make the sedative opium. According to Greek myth, poppies grew in the land of the dead. They were associated with Demeter, whose daughter Persephone was the queen of the underworld. So pair with a snowdrop for the loss of a loved one. And then for good measure, I made a little pocket here with a poppy specimen card. And, you know, obviously can journal on that too. So little poppy specimen card goes in the poppy pocket. The poppy pocket, poppy specimen card, poppy pocket. Anyways, reminds me of Polly Pockets actually. All right, let's recenter. That goes out like this. And then I have a horoscope word find, which has a hinge on it. So we can reveal a more writing space underneath. Yes, yes, yes. What I love about this crow is you can see it from that page, you can see it from this page, and then this flips out and oh my gosh, it's a lady with a crow on her head. Or a raven, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so we've got lots of little flip outs here and there, just everywhere. If you didn't know this journal, you'd get lost in it, and that's kind of what I wanted. That was the point. So this is the center of the second signature, and I made more curtains. I just used my acrylic markers to make these curtains, and they flip out and reveal the full picture. Lady is dreaming, and this is what's going on in her dreams. It looks like a nightmare, actually. But it was a big image, and I don't know why. I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna print that out large. And that turned into my center fold. And then on the back of it is a little spot where you can put a bookmark, but I ended up putting another notepad in it. So let me pull it out. There that goes. There's the notepad. I've got some ruffled ribbon on there, and this just came out of a to-do list that I got from the dollar store. And it's got lines on it, and it just fell out of the booklet, and I was like, oh, let me just make a notepad with those. So those stick right in here, and I might need to alter this a little bit as time goes on because these stickers don't want to stay on. This washi tape is just like very loose on there. I made another hidden paperclip house doodad. This holds this picture of Dorothy in a field of poppies. Stenciled on here, stamped the word dream. I also stamped my music note stamp on there too, but it's very subtle. Kind of like how subtle it is, to be honest. Sleeping Beauty is one of my favorite Disney movies, and obviously she's asleep and dreaming for most of it. So I used my metallic gel pens to kind of bring out some of the crystals. So I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but they shine quite a bit. And so that flips out, and you get the first page of the Sleeping Beauty book. So once upon a time, there lived a king and a queen. So you can pause that and read it if you want, but it also opens up to a picture of Aurora and more journaling space. This actually soaked in from this page when I sprayed it, but kind of like the look of it. It looks more old. And then this is another hidden pocket, or another journaling space. So it's an image that I kind of half sewed to the page and half cut and made like this little thing that you can journal on. And then I can also journal behind it too. All this blue paper right here is hand dyed as well. There's the other side. I've got Dorothy here with a little collage behind her, and another map that I generated that I thought was also worth kind of including, but it was in a square ratio, so I didn't use it. But I put that in a little pocket. Next page, I made a star, cut it out, and used it as a like kind of a stopper for this flip out picture. Next page, I had this tiny little mini envelope that I thought would go perfect. Made another star, attached it to that, and then on the inside is a tiny little greeting card that says twinkle twinkle little star, and it's blank, so you can definitely write all over this. And then I had a sticker with, you know, a little jar weed. We can put that in there too. And it just goes in this pocket and kind of has the flap hanging over it like that. This page flips. We've got another veil. I don't know if you can see it because it's very subtle, but there's like little flowers that are in the background of that. Really pretty. And then flip it. We've got another ledger paper, another like kind of logging paper. And then this is another little hidden spot. This is my little pocket. It says Lucid on it. Usually I should have it folded in like this. Kind of tucks underneath the fold and then goes like that. And then, you know, it stays locked, but it actually folds out completely for a lot of hidden journaling space. A lot of it. I'm actually very excited to use this journal. I'm so excited to start using it. So that just kind of folds back into itself. It's attached to the page, so it won't go anywhere. And then the next page is my mermaid paper doll, the star of the show. So this flips out. It's an envelope. This is her, but just like glued on. This came with the paper doll herself. This is her. She's got all sorts of hinges and she's free moving and her tail moves. She's so pretty. I love her so much. Maybe she'll date one of the other paper dolls. Oh my God, I love her so much. I love her so much. So she goes in this envelope and that's where she stays. It's her home. And then right here is her accessories. I made a little fold out clam and held it together with a starfish. And here are her little accessories. She has a seashell, a dagger, a bottle. Here we go. A little bottle, hairbrush, seashell, and a mirror. And those are her little accessories and they stay in her little clam shell. And it's all backed with grid paper. So that goes in the little clam and folds under the starfish. And then this flips. It's got a really pretty card that I got from the dollar store actually. It was the last one they had and it's sparkly. And this kind of, the end of the book kind of represents waking up. You know, we're going from night to day. And this flips out. And it's a little collage, says vivid, journaling space, vellum paper with clouds on it. And then this detaches and it's the captain's log. This is my little dream tracker. So I already track my dreams. I already keep like a log of them, but it's on Google Docs. And I thought this would be the perfect journal to start journaling them, like actually. So this opens up my little journaling log and I just imagine someone who's traveled the realm quite a bit, some kind of captain kept this log trying to kind of keep straight in the land of dreams where anything is possible. So this is their little journal. So we've got a double pocket. So this is a pocket that holds this, which is another kingdom in the realm. That stays in there. We have a bookmark so I can keep track of where I last wrote in here. So this is laminated and it's got sparkly paper and it says astral on it and then another little collage on the back. It says stars. So that's my little bookmark. And then also on the inside is this tag. I imagine this is the ship of the captain, you know, the ship that this log would be on. And because this is a ship that I'm imagining, you know, like a ship captain holding on to all of this, I imagine that he's quite obsessed with the mermaids of Dream Lake because he's probably heard their calls and everything. So I imagine that he would become obsessed. So here is just like a weird print of, you know, a little actual captain's log with an image. And then on this side, Dream Lake Mermaid. This is him trying to keep track of Dream Lake mermaids. And just a little journaling spot here, more journaling space. And then when you turn the page, we actually start the logging part. So you can journal whatever on this side. And then the rest of the booklet is just journaling, dream tracking, basically. So this is a tracking, keep track of your dreams, keep track of what they mean and when you had it. So we've got the days, the date right here up top. We've got what kind of dream it was. It could be a nightmare, otherworld, historical, lucid, recurring, healing, what happened, was happening in the waking world, setting, people, symbols, interpretation. I think I got this template off of Etsy. I might have, or I just got it off of Google. So anyways, and then that goes all the way to the back. And then you've got the other side of the journaling stuff, little map. And at the end, there's another pocket on the top. It's a top corner pocket. We've got another image of a mermaid and then another little booklet made out of scraps. So yeah, that's the end of that. So there's lots of space to journal, lots of hidden spots, a lot of places that my family might not actually find unless they watch this video. I don't know why, but like every time I write in my journal or make a journal or whatever, I imagine what happens after I pass away. And I imagine my family kind of going through my journals and like having a little adventure of their own, trying to find their way through it, navigate through it. That's why I've got a little compass. I'm gonna close this on my little clasp. So it's just a little jewelry clasp and I've got an eyelet right here, and it's really difficult to do with nails. All right, so I got it all clasped up and shut, and that is my Blue Dream Journal. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of this journal in the comments down below. God, she's thick. She is a thickums. Anyways, let me know what you think of her in the comments down below, and I will see you all in my very next video, which I promise there will be a Sims video coming up. I promise. Thank you all, and I will see you all later. Bye. Mwah.